Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Cowboys reportedly unhappy with Trayvon Diggs as star CB sits out versus Panthers. This has been the season from hell for the Dallas Cowboys. Originally listed as questionable on the final Week 15 injury report, cornerback Trayvon Diggs went from being ruled out against the Carolina Panthers to reporters dropping the bombshell that Diggs needs season-ending surgery. The severity of Diggs' injury wasn't initially clear. Cowboys fans pondered if he needed major surgery or whether this was procedural cleanup with the team not having anything to play for over the final 4 weeks. Since this season can't help but deliver bad news, the injury is to the same knee that Diggs underwent ACL surgery. Stephen Jones told reporters before Sunday's game it's a serious injury that will require roughly an 8-month recovery. That puts Diggs in danger of missing some time next year, but arguably the bigger concern is what longtime Cowboys reporter Clarence Hill Jr. revealed before kickoff. Unfortunately, he had an incident in the game, and hats off to him for trying to play through it, Stephen Jones said pre-game. I don't think he made it any worse. It's a cartilage issue that finally came loose on him. It's gonna take a little bit of time for him to get back, probably 8 months. Hill has been on the Cowboys beat since 1997. He is as plugged in as any reporter covering the team. His reporting suggests that Diggs did not attack his ACL rehab with the desired fortitude. It's unclear if that exposed Diggs to this latest injury, but it wouldn't be crazy if that was the case. Regardless, Hill's report is highly concerning. Diggs' effort has been brought into question on multiple occasions throughout his career. Most of that has had to do with tackling. Diggs is full aware of that narrative. Earlier this season, the former All-Pro took offense when WFAA anchor Mike Leslie criticized his effort against the 49ers. Diggs lashed out at Leslie before the media was even allowed into the locker room. Diggs and Leslie have since made up, but Hill's report won't do much to hush talk about the star cornerback's effort. If anything, it will spark more uncomfortable conversations. If it's true that Diggs didn't attack his ACL rehab head-on, it is fair to question what he'll look like on the other side of his second surgery. We are now talking about 2 major operations on the same knee within the span of a year. All of a sudden, Diggs' future in Dallas looks pretty bleak. Rico Dowdle did something against the Panthers no Cowboys player had done in 5 years. The Dallas Cowboys took care of business on Sunday against the Carolina Panthers, and one of the biggest reasons that they did so was running back Rico Dowdle. Dowdle has been impressive as of late for the Cowboys for a few weeks now, and on Sunday notched his 3rd consecutive 100-yard game for the team. This is notable in that nobody has rushed for over 100 yards in 3 consecutive games for the team in over 5 years. Dowdle's hat trick of 100-yard performances is just the 8th that the Cowboys have seen as a franchise this century. Ezekiel Elliott was unsurprisingly the last person to do it for the team, as he amazingly did it in each of his first 4 seasons, but the last one came over 5 years ago. The last non-Elliott running back to do this before Dowdle was actually DeMarco Murray. Many Cowboys fans vividly recall the magical 2014 season that Murray was a huge part of. If this is not obvious, we are approaching the 10-year anniversary of you-know-what. Rico Dowdle has found really solid form as of late after the Cowboys finally decided to make him the feature back. The Dallas Cowboys do not care what you think. They are prepared to do it again. Cowboys EVP Stephen Jones spoke to NFL media's Ian Rappaport this week and offered a potentially grim outlook on the offseason to come. This is the offseason that will follow a horrendous season that was built on the foundation of a horrible offseason. The little piggy who built his house on sand had a more stable setup going on. Stephen Jones told Ian Rappaport that the team is going to assess and examine their commitment to high-end players and emphasized that having so much tied up, salary cap-wise, in a handful of players is something they are finding to be somewhat unwise. It has been that kind of season for Dallas, one destined to end in disappointment no matter how the final 4 games of the regular season go. Which is why the team's brass will spend the offseason examining how they got there and what led them down this frustrating path. Of note, Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, Vice President of Player Personnel Will McClay and other members of the team's brass will explore the effects that signing big money, high-profile, top-of-position players has on their rest of their roster. To me, it would be irresponsible if every year you don't look at the full body of work and the big picture and how those guys fit into that big picture, Stephen Jones told NFL.com at the conclusion of NFL's December League meeting in Las Colinas, Texas, on Wednesday, and how we want to think about our team in terms of the big picture going forward. Troy Aikman reveals if he thinks Deion Sanders could coach the Cowboys. For years, there has been speculation about Mike McCarthy's future with the Dallas Cowboys. Likewise, fans and talking heads have also discussed whether Jerry Jones would bring in Deion Sanders. Sanders has had successful runs with 2 different college programs, neither of which were expected to be great. He would have an opportunity to restore the out-of-favor Cowboys to their glory days, which have been in the rearview mirror since he was in Arlington. When asked about that, fellow Cowboys legend Troy Aikman wanted to set the record straight. Talking to TMZ Sports, Aikman wanted to clarify that, as much as Sanders has obvious ties to Jones and the Cowboys through his past with the organization, he would only get hired because he's a great football coach, first and foremost. Once he got that out of the way, he acknowledged that Sanders could definitely be a successful coach in the pros. He believes that, with him being a great marketer, just like Jerry Jones, it would be interesting to see the frenzy they could create for America's team. He also thinks that Sanders, as much as he's stated that he's staying in college and is not interested in the pros, has a price that could convince him to change his stance. It's not like Sanders needs the money. But who knows? Maybe if Jerry Jones gets him on the phone, they might be able to work something out. The Dallas Cowboys were riding high before their tough loss to the Cincinnati Bengals. Although unlikely, they could have still finished the season on a high note to make a postseason run. That's why Micah Parsons was so emotional on the sidelines. He saw his team miss a huge opportunity to keep the momentum going. Some made fun of him for being emotional and holding back tears. Cam Newton, however, has nothing but respect for him. In the latest edition of his podcast, the former NFL MVP claimed that he was officially a fan of Parsons now. He claimed that NFL players aren't robots or AI-powered, and they have real emotions. If I'm Jerry Jones, I see this and know the franchise is in good hands, he said. Newton claimed that the Cowboys wouldn't have been in this position if all the other players on the field did their job and felt as much passion as Parsons. Parsons has drawn mixed reviews since he entered the league. His fire is contagious, and the defense usually marches to his beat. Then again, he's also allowed his emotions to get the best of him at times, not only on the field but also when he goes off on his podcast. He has everything to become a great leader. He's had some questionable actions and words in the past, and the fans are right to ask him to be more mature. What he should never do, however, is apologize for wanting to win so badly that he literally has to hold back tears. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Deion Sanders? Leave your opinion in the comments.